All right, hello, Saubana. I am back in India. Thank you everybody who follows me, who enjoyed the trip with me, who came and traveled all through Paris and Spain and London and everywhere, Iceland. Thank you. That was so sweet of each one of you here. I absolutely, I'm such a private person. I'm always wondering whether I want to share all of this traveling of mine on Instagram and all of that. And then I always feel like, but I have a family and my family wants to know, just the way I send pictures to my parents, I want you all to also live and aspire for all of the travel that I do. So that's one of the reasons why I love sharing with all of you. Trust me, all of you send such beautiful messages of nazar na lag jaye, of looking lovely, of everything. So it was really nice. How was the trip? Absolutely fabulous because it was divided into different parts. Paris was Puneet and me, where he proposed to me in front of Eiffel Towers. It was magical, literally, if I may say so. Spain was with the children, all about food. What a lovely space city to go to, San Sebastian, for food. It was so sweetly. One of you wrote to me, Puja ji, if you keep eating like this, how will you lose weight? It was such a cute DM. I really fell in love with the DM. Just how close you think we are was just so sweet. I just loved it that you treated me, that you're like, Puja ji, don't eat so much. I'm like, thank you, I agree. I was having the same fear, so you literally read my mind. Have you had a love marriage? No, absolutely arranged. I met him on the 25th of December, did Roka on 26th of January, got married on 10th of March. So, fully arranged. How do I become a life coach? मुझसे पूछ रहे how do I become a life coach? मैं help करूंगी आपकी. So I have a beautiful program happening on the 6th and 7th of April. It's called Coaching Mastery. It's 2 full days, Saturday and Sunday. Just be in touch with Gunjan. Gunjan will put her number underneath this Insta Live like always. And all you need to do is give her a call and ask her, how can I join Coaching Mastery? Okay? Just come off. You know what? In the next 1 year, coaching is just going to take off to another level. This is something that I've been saying for a couple of years now, that 2025 is going to be the year of coaching. And everyone who's become a coach before 2025 will have a huge advantage if you understand that every business has a peak point. Every business hits its peak, and next year is the peak of coaching. Coaching is just starting to trend. Lots of coaches now suddenly you will see will be showing up with Bollywood stars and will be showing up with, in different places. It is going to be the next business to belong to. So if you are someone who's not feeling financially independent or doesn't have her own identity or wants to start to get that respect that you badly want, then I highly recommend coaching for a woman like that, especially if you want to do business from home. Like I am. Got it? So for anyone here who would love to become a coach, this is the year to become. Practice so that by next year when we peak, you're already a superstar in the business. Got it? Superb. Can you share a little bit about your 5th year love proposal? It was very sweet of him. We stayed at this amazingly gorgeous hotel, maybe one of the best that I've ever stayed. It's called the Bulgari Hotel of Paris. It's on the Champs-Élysées. It was just phenomenal. That hotel experience itself was so mind-blowing that I don't think Puneet needed to do too much. And I think the hotel kind of put together the whole idea of that they'll send me flowers at the restaurant. So the restaurant was right opposite Eiffel Towers, and suddenly I had this 25 beautiful roses that came in from somewhere when Puneet and I were sitting and chatting, and they kept it there. And then it was raining outside. Actually, he had planned the proposal outside, but it was raining very heavily, so he had to do it within the restaurant. Though I dragged him and made him do one more outside. I said, okay, don't go on your knees outside so that your jeans don't get wet, but at least steps mein thoda niche khade ho jao, main thoda upar khade ho jati hu. So that's what we did. For those of you who are thinking that some magical ring came, this is the ring I removed it, I gave it to him, he put it back on. So no, I didn't get any ring. I'm hoping ke anniversary के आसपास कुछ और मिल जाएगा तो मिल जाएगा, but अभी तो he used my ring only and 25 flowers. You know what, I feel like the way Puneet and I live our marriage, it is a celebration almost on a very every single day. So I really don't know how to celebrate my 25th anniversary for the simple reason I believe that, you know what, we're already celebrating. We travel all the time. If you know what my life and my travel plans, so then you know that I travel all the time. We both spend a lot of time together. We both live alone. So because both our children are in London. So he was asking me, he said, Puja, how, when every day is a 25th anniversary, how do I make 25th anniversary special? I am not the gifting types. You can't buy me anything. I don't like gifts for some reason. I don't know. I'm not into receiving or giving to Puneet. I don't think I've given him anything for the last 10 years. I don't think he's given me anything for the last 10 years because materialistically, both of us are very complete with our own money. So we're not... if I want to buy a watch, I'll just buy it. If I want to buy a diamond, I'll just buy it. Why will I want... I'm not going to wait for him to give it to me because it doesn't matter who's bought it. Our money is a very shared money kind of a situation. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on what else to tell you. But the fact that he made the effort was really heart touching, and that's all I wanted. You know, I think we women, it's more than even the materialistic things. All we want to all we want to feel is valued. Do you value me? Do you make that effort? Do I, you know, for me, whether you gave me 25 roses or you gave me a diamond ring, it's literally the same thing. At least that's how I am. I know a lot of my friends who are exactly like that. So I'm guessing some of you in this room, if you're attracted to me, you also must be similar. Hai na? Kaur, I wanted to come and visit you at the Changemakers, but the tickets got sold out. Oh my God, is that true? Are we already at a sellout event? Oh wow, I didn't even know this, Kaur. But you know what? Get in touch with Gunjan that we may have our share of tickets. Let me just check if I can organize a ticket for you. Okay, so for all of you who still want to come for Changemakers, we'll make sure that you get a ticket. So all you need to do is be in touch with Gunjan. Okay. Ah, lovely. This voice is changing, is becoming a huge problem. Is it my iPad or is it the phones that you people are holding? I'm not able to fix it. However, what I'll do is I will send my iPad this week for, what do you call it? recharge to the Apple store, just so that in case it's on my side, I want to take responsibility for that. मैम बैकग्राउंड में पिक्चर्स क्या है? आप मेरे इंस्टा लाइव के लिए नहीं आ रहे इनफ, इसीलिए आपको पता नहीं है. ये मेरी सारी भूटानीज गॉडेसेस हैं. दे आर ऑल different goddesses of the Buddhism religion. It was such a... These are called Tangkha paintings, and I've got them framed, and I have all across my house or the wall, almost I think, what, 24 to 36 of them. Where can I get Gunjan ma'am's number? Underneath this video when I finish. Okay? Priyam, my husband wants to live with me, but only in his condition. He has an affair with some other girl. He always dominates me what to do. So Priyam, I have two solutions for this. One is, are you financially independent or not? I don't know. Okay? So if you are financially independent and you tolerate this stuff, okay, what's going to happen is eventually your own self-esteem will get damaged really badly. Okay, I don't know how old your children are. If you have children, I don't know your full scenario to be able to guide you correctly. But I will say, for a generic information, for those who are not financially independent, I tell them take 700 days, stay with him, become financially independent and leave. And I have now over, I think, maybe 20 to 25 ladies who've already done this, where I gave them guidance 2 years ago. They got themselves financially independent and left whenever they could. So, you know, for some of us, we want to react. I think we women need to get smarter. Just the way they had their time before they got discovered with the woman, we need to sometimes give ourselves time on exactly what it is that we want. For me, if the man has had an affair or has been with someone and is apologetic about it, I am fully willing to give him a second chance. But if he's saying, I will still continue, you stay. Sorry, that's not an acceptable situation. Now, if I need to organize myself to be able to leave in a year or two because I'm not financially independent, I'll do that. I'll be smart about it. But I'm not going to stay with a man that is going to treat me like an option where I am supposed to love him. That just doesn't work. Eventually, in the long run, you'll just be extremely unhappy, because when our core relationship is not right, no relationship or nothing in the world can give us happiness. So it's very important that you get out of it, but make sure that you've organized yourself. Now, whether your parents, you go back to your parents, you take another house, you need to get yourself financially independent. That's a plan I would love for you to sit down and make, either with me or with one of my life coaches, or with someone who can guide you correctly, so that you're able to get out of it. A lot of the patriarchy will speak sentences like, every man does it, you should stay, you think about your children, think about society, what will people say. All of these sentences are all now old sentences for our mothers and grandmothers. They do not belong to our generation. Our generation is, I'm only here if you and I want to be with each other. I am not here because I need you to protect me or you to provide for me. And we need to get to that space where we need to stop being dependent on our men to be protected for or to be provided for. That should be the bonus in the relationship. Love should be the first thing, and the bonus is we get protected and provided for. Okay, now if a man is the kind who can protect and provide us, those are the men who will get lapped up in the world. Because you know what, in a world where men especially are coming from this angle that she should stay no matter what, I feel like it's about time. The next 10 years, I'm calling it the decade of the woman. The woman is going to rise, and when I say she's going to rise, I actually mean she's going to stop tolerating, compromising and adjusting to rubbish. She still is going to tolerate, adjust and compromise out of love, which is a very different feeling than tolerating junk. Okay, and I feel like if I have daughters, if I can say that if all of you are my daughters, what advice would I give my daughter? I would love for her to experience real love. And it feels very different from this kind of love. This is not even love. This is him using you. So you use him back, get yourself financially independent, and then get out as soon as you can. Okay, Miri Jan, I really hope you understood what I'm trying to tell you. Don't adjust to men where they expect you to lose your entire soul, to a relationship that's not giving you anything. So see how you're going to work with this. Sriya799, hi ma'am, how can we remain unaffected by negative triggers that we see and hear from toxic people? Sriya, it's very simple. Are you on a mission in your life, or are you busy attending to fixing the toxic people? Okay, now I can tell you, I live in a joint family. Fortunately for me, I don't have toxic people around me. But of course, when so many of you live together, everybody comes with their own agendas. So what can happen sometimes is that you start to feel like you're not being supported, or you're not being understood, or you're not being, so all of that does happen in most families. But when you are on a mission, it's very easy to ignore those sentences, because you are made for something bigger. You don't have time for the drama. I remember at one point, there were some people in my life that I wasn't so happy about, and my constant sentence in my head used to be, not my monkey, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my circus. And because I used to keep repeating that, man, I'm not going to engage, because these toxic people who especially live in the keychad, they will pull you in the keychad. Now remember, that keychad area is their expertise, but you are not like that. So the more you go in to give it back to them, the better they do, because that's exactly what they wanted from you. They want to take you away from your highest, biggest dreams. So see if you can start to really focus on what is it you want in your life. When you start to live to your highest values, when you start to live a life where you are in alignment with your priorities of what it is you want, what is important to you, who are the people that matter to you, you will start to see a completely different version of yourself coming out. And then you know what, their sentences, their triggers, their everything will go off. एक कान से सुनो, एक कान से निकल जाएगा, पता भी नहीं चलेगा, because they only matter because you gave them the importance. And guess what? If they don't deserve that importance, take that importance back. Take the remote control of your life back. One of the most important chapters that I've read in my life is from the book called The Success Principles. And the chapter number 1 said, start to take 100% responsibility of your life. which means wait for no one to give you happiness. You become the happiness creator of your life. And the day I started to operate in that energy where I started to hold my happiness and peace like a Kohinoor, and I said, no one and nobody will be allowed to snatch this away from me. I am not going to wake up to deciding by other people what my mood for the day should be or what my agenda for the day should be. There used to be a time where I used to cry the whole day and I would give up my entire day to someone. And why I used to do that, I don't know. Today when I look back, I'm like, so much power in the hands of toxic people. Galat ho gaya na. So to you also, I'm going to say the same. People can only trigger you if you allow them. You know that story where somebody came and abused Buddha ji like really badly, okay? So he just came and Buddha ji was taking a sermon and he just came and screamed at Buddha. And Buddha just smiled, didn't respond too much. And when that man walked away, all his disciples asked him, why didn't you respond? So he said, when someone gives you a gift and you don't take it, who does it belong to? So he said, when someone tries to insult you and you don't receive it, who does it belong to? And I just so loved that you know what, there used to be a time where I used to react to such people. Then came a time when I started to respond to such people. I feel like I've reached a place now where I choose to ignore such people. You know, I don't even have the time to want to fix them. So I'm going to tell each one of you here, start to get out of all this karmic debt that we are continuously creating by engaging with people that don't deserve our energy. Yeah, see what you can do with this. Yeah, not my monkey, not my circus. Ruchi, my son is 13 years old and quite tall with a fit body, and he's getting very possessive about his body. He's even tried to body shame others, especially his brother who is a little fatter. How can I change his thoughts? Oh. So you know what, Ruchi, I feel like that age, 13, 14, 15 is such where you go through different phases. And one of the phases that he's enjoying right now is the attention of suddenly becoming tall, suddenly having the looks. My suggestion would be allow him to enjoy it. Every now and then, if you feel like you need to speak to him, don't ever check him while he's doing it. Maybe you can separately take him for a lunch or, ask him that I'd like to speak to you and tell him that, look, while I'm very happy for you to be so body proud, I just want you to be sensitive to your brother, because, one of the things that can happen is that, he might start to feel less, and I don't in any way want you to contribute to him feeling less. Having said that, Ruchi, we as parents have to understand that siblings have their own relationship, and it is their job to tease each other, to make fun of each other, to put each other down. It's one of the things we have to learn to deal with in life. And I always like to say this to parents whenever I'm speaking, that don't protect your children so much that they don't know how to deal with the real world. Remember, in the real world, we have to learn to accept whoever we are. If we have a fat nose, we have to accept it. If I have a fat bum, I have to accept it. If I have whatever my flaws are, you can stop your son from saying it. Will you be able to stop the world? No, right? So your son, in one way, God has given siblings for us to grow a thick skin, so that when we enter the real world, we know how to handle the world. True? So as much as I'm so happy to see you so sensitive towards your younger son or your other son, I also want you to know that between them, what they share, how they tease each other, what they do, it's not much to worry, unless the younger one or the other one, I don't even know whether it's younger or other, so other one is coming and saying something to you and you need to intervene, you intervene. But overall, know that sibling conversations actually make each one stronger on the journey of handling life. Okay? So it's not something I'd like you to over worry. A lot of times these are phases. I remember my older son calling my younger son 12 till he turned 18. He's 12. He's 12. That was a joke between them. Even on his 16th birthday, happy 12. So it was just so hilarious that we all also started to participate. It was actually funny. So all I'm trying to tell you here is that, don't get too concerned unless it is real bullying by the elder brother, where he's making him do things or things that are not safe. That's the only time when I'll get super concerned, when either of the siblings is not creating a safe space. Till the time it's all talk, till the time it's all teasing, you don't have to worry too much. They have their own equation. We parents think we need to help them, but they physically, yes, if ever it gets physical, you need to intervene. Till the time it's verbal, let them enjoy their banter. Okay. Richa KV, my in-laws are toxic, wish to change me according to them, but I'm unable to ignore it. I wish to talk to them and tell them how they have made me suffer, but they are not receptive what to do. Richa, you know, the thing about, I have a feeling ours is going to be the last generation that's going to have this conversation with in-laws or do all of this, because the coming in generation is not going to tolerate half of what you, I and many other people have tolerated, correct? So having understood that, my suggestion is when you go to speak to someone, you know, they amongst themselves can't change each other, your mother-in-law and your father-in-law. Your husband, who's their son, can't change them. So where is a daughter-in-law who's in the hierarchy of things, the last in that pyramid? Okay, I always say father-in-law, then mother-in-law, then husband and son, then his siblings, then everybody in the house, and then jaake daughter-in-law comes. Okay, she's literally the last in the house. So how are you going to expect that they are going to be receptive or they're going to change? My suggestion, become such a rock star in your own life that what they do and how they do it stops mattering. Okay, the first couple of years, in-laws try to change. Then you have your own babies and you start to paying attention to them and you get busy with them. And then a time comes where you start to look at wanting to identify your own identity. Okay, so these are different phases. First couple of years, we do seva for the in-laws. The next couple of years, we are busy being mothers. And then there comes a time when we wake up and say, but what about me? Okay, and then when that one, well, what about me happens, that stage when it comes, that's our time to go on a journey where we have to go beyond them, not get stuck in trying to fix them. We can't fix ourselves. What are we going to fix someone else? If I tell you tomorrow onwards you have to wake up at 7:30 or 6:30 or 5:30 every day, 3 days you'll be able to do it, 4th day, even though you know it will be a great thing to do, you can't do. So once we realize how hard it is to change ourselves itself, we will stop trying changing the world, because the world is not going to change because of us. We have to accept that as the reality. So you're telling them how much they made you suffer. They are not going to accept it. Their ego is not going to accept it. The hierarchy positioning is not going to accept it. Rather, it can change your relationship even with your own spouse. I always say love him more than you hate them, and that works much better. Got it? I hope some of it is helpful. Artist Puja Khanna, should I communicate with them about the disappointment? Okay, I don't know what she's asked, so wherever her question is. I don't know what your question was, sweetheart. I think you've just given me a second follow-up question, but I lost your question. Dr. Fatima, ma'am, my husband loves me a lot, but he keeps on telling me and sending reels on how women should dress up and how we need to be religious and how all other such stuffs, and that irritates me what to do. So Fatima, in a marriage, there will always be one topic which will be the topic of fight. Okay, the faster we understand the topics of our fights, the better it is, because now we know, okay, this is a topic that matters to him. Okay, it matters to him how you dress up. You may be different in your dressing up. He may be wanting you to dress up differently. Now it all depends on how much the other person is willing to do for me to be able to do that for him. Okay, so if Puneet wants something from me, I want to know what in return is he going to do for me. I don't mind dressing up according to him, but then he will also have to live a little bit of a caged life if he's going to try to cage me. Now, ideally, great relationships are where I give him permission to do what he enjoys and he gives me permission to do what I enjoy. Those are ideal relationships. But there are a few things he's not okay with me, and there are a few things I'm not okay with him, which we discuss. And I say, okay, if this is what you want, then in return, this is what I need. Remember, marriage is all about open conversation around bartering. It's all about, I am willing to do this, but then what will you do? I remember at one point Puneet saying, randomly, I like to bring my friends home at 7 o'clock. I want dinner organized. I said, okay, if you want dinner organized, I need an extra staff. 2 people se kaam nahi chalega. I need a 3rd person ghar pe. So we had that conversation. I said, if you give me a 3rd person, I will make sure that even if you bring friends at 7 o'clock, I'm okay with it. So these are the conversations you will need to have. Sometimes what happens is we get rigid and we get stuck. it's not worth it. It's a very long marriage, and I feel like, you know what, whatever the other person wants from you is a great time. It's so nice when somebody wants something from you, because then only you can put across your desires list, no? कि ठीक है, अगर मैं ये करती हूँ तो आप ये करोगे. I love traveling. Okay, so I will tell Puneet, I love traveling, मेरे को travel करना है. What do you need from me for me to make sure that you are traveling with me? Okay, so these are all constant conversations that need to be had. Sending reels to you, if he thinks that's going to change you, then that's not true. Rather, it's irritating you. My suggestion, stop using the word irritation and start to use the word sympathy. I sympathize with him that he doesn't understand that doing all of this is not going to help him. It'll have to be a lot more than reels for him to be able to convince you to start dressing up according to how he wants it. Now, I'm happy to do it, but there's going to be a cost to it. Are you willing to pay the cost? There's a cost to everything. And I think that is such an important aspect in a marriage for us to understand, that every demand of ours will cost us something. Okay, so don't get irritated. Start to laugh. Every time you receive a reel, you're like really? He thinks a reel is going to be able to shift my mindset. वो तो नहीं होने वाला. So you have to just smile, laugh. Don't get irritated. Get over it. Okay. I have a very frugal husband. He is someone who believes in we should only buy what we need. Okay. I believe in I want to buy the best. So the new iPhone will come out. I want the new iPhone. Is iPhone 14 any different from iPhone 15? I don't know. I don't care. For him, it will be सच्ची चाहिए क्या? Now that was a conversation. Today I just smile and I'm like, मुझे चाहिए. मैं अपने पैसों से खरीद रही हूँ. क्या problem है? You know, that's the conversation that where I've reached, where I'm not getting irritated. Earlier I used to be like, baby, every time I ask you for something, the question is, do I really need it? मतलब मैं मर नहीं जाऊंगी उसके बगैर. वैसा कुछ नहीं है. But चाहिए मुझे. So I feel like a lot of times where we bring in irritation, we can actually bring in a lot more of love, because we have to realize the other person is different from us. They have a different experience, they are different, they're coming from a different energy, they have a different relationship with money, they have a different relationship with religion, they have a different relationship with clothes. And once we understand that, you know what, learning to respect each other's differences is what brings love together. The beauty of love is to be able to see him as a whole and yet love him for who he is. The beauty of love is that, okay, he has his amazing side and he has this not so amazing side, and only when we love all of it do we actually love the person, not in bits and pieces, correct? So see how you can use all of this in I would love for you to start to smile when you see the reel and go, it's going to take more than that, okay? Simran, hi Puja, my husband is not putting any efforts in our marriage. We have 2 kids. I told him to leave me if he can't make me feel special or give us time, but he's not ready, and now my ex is back. Woo, danger, danger, danger. See Simran, today why I'm saying that the next decade is for the woman, the rise of the woman. Because the woman is no longer in a relationship for his money or for to be protected, which used to be the earlier case. Today, the woman wants to be seen, heard, and valued. And if the man is not willing to put in the effort, she will find someone who is. And it will be his loss. Now, unfortunately, this is going to be the last generation of men, according to me, that are not going to have this understanding. Going forward, all of us mothers itself need to take it upon ourselves personally to let our sons especially know that if you don't value that girl is not staying. We have to really make her feel like a princess if you want a woman to leave everything of hers and come to you. Okay, so I feel like the whole training has gone wrong. And Simran, if you are feeling that, you know, he doesn't value you and you've done your best and now your ex is back and that's how the route, if that's a route you are willing to explore, then so be it. What can we do when we have begged and begged and begged and the man is still not responding? What can we do apart from either leave him and move on? Okay. Now, morally, if I had to speak to you, I would say that if he doesn't have the courage to leave you and you are feeling like, you know, you want to continue your life with someone who values you, you rise to the occasion. You do what you need to do for it to happen. The problem with cheating becomes that, you know what, it damages you and it damages the person. Your children will get neglected for no reason. You'll be on the phone the whole day, hiding, lying, cheating. It all reduces our frequency. We don't realize how badly it damages us. Having said that, if that is the only way to save your situation right now, for you to figure out, till you figure out whether you're serious about this ex or is he just a passing phase, you'll have to explore all of these. These are all conversations that do not get decided now by someone else, but these are conversations that we have to have with ourselves, with our personality, with our level of life and opportunities and experiences. Sometimes we haven't thought through the consequences and we land up doing things that we regret later. I just want you to make sure that you sit in your meditation to know whether there is going to be any regret, or is it all like, you know what, even if he does find out, he deserves to know because I begged him any which ways, you know. Barkha, my husband is very dominating and egoistic. He is not mixing nature. He used to bring another woman out and promote them, but he wants me to be at home. He believes in the Vastus and the Panditjis and all of that. Oh, Barkha, I don't know where your question is, but to every single one of you who is in a bad marriage, my answer is only one. Take the next 1 or 2 years and make yourself competent enough, capable enough to be able to move on. I don't want you to treat this as a life sentence. I want you to treat it as a 2-year sentence where you work on yourself enough to be able to leave the man as and when. Sometimes what happens is when we work on ourselves and we start to value ourselves, our man starts to value us, and that makes our marriage come back, which I have seen happen time and again. You know, I remember myself going up to Puneet at one point and saying, I want to leave. And he said, why don't you do what you need to do from here and then leave once you are capable? Which is exactly what I did. But by the time I got capable, he started to value me so much I didn't need to leave. So same thing I'm going to tell you, that I don't know whether you'll stay because you've become so valuable, or you will leave because he doesn't know how to value the gem that you are. Either which ways, don't spend the rest of your life complaining. We deserve better than that. So work on yourself. You know, one of the most beautiful things I think God does for us is that He creates challenges in our life that are supposed to take us into our growth journey. And if for a lot of us, our men are our challenges so that we can start to become the better version of ourselves. Otherwise, we would have gotten very complacent. If you can start to treat your man like a disguised angel, that this is the man you chose in heaven for you to learn the lessons on earth, then you know what? When you start to live your life with a man that is feeling so hard to live with as a spiritual journey of your own personal growth, trust me, it changes the way you look at everything. All your emotions change, the courage and confidence from within changes, and it makes you do things which are very different from currently where you're feeling so stuck. Lovely. Thank you, Puja. Totally loving the daily relationship step guides that you are posting. Oh my God, how many of you are loving the love lessons that you're going through? By the way, congratulations. We completed a week. 1 week. That means 7 days of you having done the challenge. I hope it has already started to improve wherever you are, at whatever level of relationship you are. I hope you've tried some of those, especially the challenge part of those carousels. And I would love to know in the chat box if you had any amazing breakthroughs or any amazing experiences because of the 7 days challenge. Remember, there is still another good 17-18 days to go, so hang in there. Don't let the energy fall. Okay, at some point you'll start to feel this is too much every day. No, don't treat it like that. Just treat it like a daily challenge and keep enjoying. So thank you, Lovely, for mentioning that. So proud of every single one of you that has been participating. I want to give you a huge round of applause for having done so happy. And trust me, it's only going to keep getting more and more interesting as the weeks go by. Yeah, so let me know in the chat box. I'd love to read some of your breakthrough experiences around the challenge, if you've had any, that you tried something and it worked, or you know how you're anything that you'd like me to know in regard to what's happening in your life with the challenges. Yeah, I'd love to read some of those answers. Vinti, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I went through my husband's gratitude book and he mentioned everyone in it except me. I don't know, but it's disturbing me. Somewhere I'm feeling I'm not valued. A great conversation to have with him, Vinti. A lot of times what happens with gratitude, especially in a husband-wife relationship, is how men treat women is like their own. So they don't give their woman gratitude because to them they are one. And a lot of times I've heard men speak like that, and as much as we women don't like that conversation, when he's writing his gratitude, it is a conversation he's having with his supreme, his divine, and for him it just could be that he likes to give gratitude, and I'm justifying for him because I'd love for you to have an open conversation around it without making him defensive, where I'd love for you to ask him that, you know what, I'd love for you to feel more, I want to feel a little more valued. Can you make sure that, you know what, you write more gratitude towards me, or start a process of gratitude between you and him. If you don't want to tell him you read his gratitude journal because that was invasive of his privacy, better to just sit down and ask him, what do you value about me? Let's play this game for 1 week. Every day you tell me one thing you value me for, I'll tell you what I value you for. You know, start to do these kind of things in your relationship. They are very, very helpful. It's the little things that matter. Just want to go a little bit to the bottom. Neha, my daughter is 13 and having crushes. How do I mentor her without letting her know that I am policing on her? So Neha, that it is that age where the crushes start, and I think that one of the things we have to do is give them the trust that they can come and speak to us about anything. Okay, so I feel like this is their time where they are going to be checking us. So she will come and tell you, Mom, I have a crush on him and we are going on a date. And how you react to that will decide whether she will let you know the following or let you know the following. That's one. Another thing is, a lot of times our way of knowing what's happening in our children's life is what they tell us about their friends. Okay, so my friend is doing that, my friend is doing that, is also another way of you knowing that if her friends are capable of doing it, she's also very capable of doing it. A lot of times what we think is, if the friend is doing it, my daughter's not that kind, she'll never do it. Just know that you are smarter than that, right? So I feel like that's two ways of how you can remain aware in her life. There will be times where you will want to cringe. Let's say the first time she comes and tells you about something that you are not so okay with. At that point, do not in any way give away the fact that you're not okay with it, because you have to first thank her for trusting you. And this is your age, this is her age and your time to build that trust. You know, I remember my sons coming and telling me some of the things and me just going like, I don't even know if I'm okay with it, but I'm just going to pretend that I'm okay with it for now till I can figure out a way of how I want to continue having that conversation, you know. And then at later point, you can have conversations around whatever your fears are or however you would like to guide her. Let it be at a time when it's not when she has come to talk to you, but you have approached her. Okay. So let's say she comes and tells you, I'm going on a date. Let her go for that time. Let her come back and narrate to you whatever the date was. Let's say she tells you something that was not okay with you, that I went to his house or I went to his room or whatever. Let's say she comes and tells you. Then at that point, don't say anything. But later on, sit down and just let her know that, you know what? Women are literally, as I like to always say, we are Kohinoors. Okay, the way we are made or created biologically is that we are supposed to be the choosers. So we have to be choosy. So we have to give ourselves time to know who it is that we would want to surrender to, who it is we would like to love. So I just feel like just letting her know that she's going to be having the upper hand in every relationship, and the more she respects herself, the more the man will respect her and not land up using her. There are two kinds of girls right now in the world. One who's becoming too available, and you know what, these are not the relationships are not going to be fulfilling. We are going to start to go jumping from one to the other, and I think these are great deep conversations to have of how it is so important to First, take your time to choose and then stick to the ones that we like or love or want to be with, so that we are not hopping, which has become quite the trend thanks to Tinder. And what all Tinder is doing, maybe those are great conversations to have. Just have a conversation of, what do you think of these kind of apps, or what do you think of, casual sleeping around, or what do you think of, again, they say that parents who have had the conversation around smoking with their children much before and have had that as an open conversation, 85% chance that the child will not smoke. 85%. I think that's huge. So I feel like the more open you're going to make that conversation between you and her, the easier it will be for her to come and tell you things that she won't want to tell. Now, one thing we have to know, all of us at some point have done things that we shouldn't have done. So I feel like we have to also give our children the permission to be able to make their own mistakes and make their own decisions, right? That's also a part of life. Now, how much you want to guide her, how much you want to be there for her, depends on the level of trust you build on her. So currently, this is your trust building phase. It is not your phase of policing. It's the phase where you build trust, because at 13, 14, 15, you create a great friendship. 17, 18, 19, it will turn into magic. Panjaravali. Puja, I'm facing a layoff for my job without any mistake. I'm unable to take this and I'm scared to tell about this to my parents and how they will take it. And nowadays, getting a job is becoming so hard. Please advise. Panjara, many things I can tell you for this. Okay, one, we don't know whether this is for your betterment or lesser, okay? Because any place you are working and you're not being valued, I would like you to move on from there. Now, they could just be laying you off because they don't, for some other reason, it may not be your mistake, but this is how life operates. So, lesson number one for you, life is not fair, okay? Lesson number two, you will only start to not be insecure about your job when you start to work on your own skill set on a daily basis. I want you to be with a company that should be scared of losing you rather than the other way around. Okay, so I want you to start to now work on your own skill sets. Whatever it is that you're doing, can you be the best at that? Because I'll tell you why. When you become the best at anything that you do, you will never have this worry, you will never have this fear. So maybe this losing of this job is to actually make you so competent that the next time you want to move a job, your company should be saying, tell us what you want, we'll give you that, but don't leave. You need to put yourself in that position. You can't expect, otherwise you'll always be insecure, you'll always be in the hands of your company. And I don't want that to happen. So who you are, I can tell you in my team, if any one of my girls came and told me they want to leave, I'm going to have a very serious conversation with them that what is it that the other company is giving you that I can't give you that you are planning to leave. Ask me for it. I will give you a whole process of why and how we are going to make it possible for you to be able to stay. And I'll give you what the other company is offering, but I need this, this and this from you. You give me this, 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 I will give you whatever else you need. Those are the conversations. We spend our maximum time in our careers. True? Then our career, if it is not giving us a place of happiness, remember, then our life is not going to give us happiness. I don't know a single person who can say, I'm not happy in my career, but I'm happy in life. Doesn't happen. You have to be happy with your main job, with your whatever it is that you're working on the whole day. You have to be happy with that for you to be happy in life. True or not? So this is a great reminder. I want you to not treat this as a negative thing, but I want you to make this more about the fact that God needs to teach you a few things before you can start to become so valuable for your company that they can't leave you. Yeah. So as far as telling your parents is concerned, my suggestion, at some point, just go do it. Even if you don't tell them you've lost your job, even if you just go tell them they are thinking like this or they are planning to do it, slowly and steadily give them the shocker so that suddenly or one day they are not fully shocked. So you can just build it up that, some people in the office are getting laid off. It looks like they are doing a layoff. What if they lay me off, mom and dad? What should I do? Give me some advice. I need some guidance. Start having those kind of conversations. Okay, let me go right to the bottom. How to join the challenge? You don't have to join it. You just have to be a part of my tribe on Instagram, and then every day just put the comments in the under the challenge. So I will tell you 6 hearts, 7 hearts, 8 hearts, 9 hearts. Just keep hearting it all through, and then that's how you participate in the challenge. So just do the thing, put the hearts, or read the thing, put the hearts, go do it. Read the thing, put the hearts, go do it. That's the whole system. Okay, it's not difficult at all. It's just every day I'm just making you consciously aware of a relationship that might have started to get a bit stagnant or boring, because you know what we do is once we get the person, we stop working on the relationship. And that's the biggest mistake we make in the relationship. When every day you keep doing those small, cute, nice things, then our relationship stays alive. And can I tell you, there's no bigger happiness in our life than the love we have in that relationship if we are with the right person. So sweet. Tony Nidhi Shah is asking, why don't you take sessions for men too? You know what? I think one of the things that happened with me was that when I was struggling and suffering in my own life, there came a time where I had made a promise to God that, God, if I'm able to become happy, I'm going to help the women of India, at that point is what I had said, become happy again. Because one of the things I'm very committed to is I totally and truly understand women. I feel like I can go much deeper when I have one kind of crowd in my room. I can speak to all the issues of that category. They say when you speak to everyone, you'll end up speaking to no one. Now, I don't mind doing a couple session at some point and having men come into the room for me to go deeper in the conversation. It might be something I consider next year. But for now, I'm just so happy with the tribe I have, the community that I've built, because it's actually their way of building themselves to go back to the man, as a much more mature woman, because I truly believe a divine feminine will take out from her man the sacred masculine. So I don't have to work with the couple. I don't have to work with the man. I can just work with you, and your energy shift will shift his energy. I'm a big believer of that. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like I don't need to work with the man. The woman is more than enough for me. We are such powerful human beings, we don't realize. You know, till the time I kept waiting for my man to change, for me to live my life my way, I was only in waiting. But the more I took on the role of becoming an awakened woman, becoming an enlightened woman, owning my goddess energy, becoming that divine feminine energy that I speak of today, the harder I worked, the more I saw my spouse changing. I remember in my marriage, in the first 10 years, I used to beg him to take me for one holiday abroad a year. That is what I used to beg him for. You know, that just take, I said, Puneet, one holiday. And he used to say, not more than 3 days. Not more than 3 days. Today, we literally do a holiday every month. What changed? You know what changed? I changed. And can I tell you something? I truly believe that when a woman comes into her power, her ability to manifest, do you know anyone else in the world who can sit at home, enjoy her life, and have someone work for her? You know, we downgrade the housewife, or we downgrade the I'm just a wife, I'm just a mother. Oh my God, we are made to be receivers. But you know what? We don't receive well when we become nags, when we become complainers, so when you shift your energy and you open up your vessel of receiving, which is what I do with women, what happens is the man who has been the giver, biologically also, if you notice, when we come together, the giver is the man and the receiver is the woman. The same is in our soul energy. We are the plug ka एक socket होता है और एक plug होता है, right? So we are the receivers, and when we open up our vessel, we can manifest anything, including changing that whole man. But the change doesn't happen from him, the start point. The start point is us. We have to start to shift our energy, and I have seen relationship after relationship, women that have come to me for like they are on the brink of divorce, will be meeting me a year later and saying, Puja, you saved the marriage. I don't know what you did. You didn't even ever meet him. You didn't even ever speak to him. You didn't even know him. How did everything change? You know how everything changed? Because you changed. And so that is why I don't feel the need to speak to the man, because I know the minute I move your energy from ordinary to divine, There's no way your man will not reciprocate to that. And in case after that also he doesn't reciprocate, you will have the courage and the power to find the right person. So that's why. Okay, let's go to the bottom. Learning to be brave is saying even the Supreme Court has now acknowledged the homemakers' efforts, and it really means a lot to our tribe. Absolutely. I think there is no bigger champion in this world but a housewife. The housewife is the queen. Okay, and I feel like when the plug and socket come together, the right plug with the right socket, that is magic. When the man can go out and earn, and when the woman stays at home and completes his home, that complementary relationship, that collaboration is actually beautiful. Woman, if she wants to work for herself, should work, but it should be a choice. All of this is conversation that I have a lot more of. If you want to understand the patriarchy, feminism, divine feminine, sacred masculine, and all of this is of interest to you, please come for my awakening course, where I am going to spend 4 weeks, 30 days with you, educating you on how to become that woman who knows how to receive in the world. And the minute you will learn to receive the right way, you will start to see a flow that will get developed between the universe and you. Literally, there will come a time where you'll think it and it will happen for you. And all of you who've done awakening with me, all of you who've done enlightenment with me know what I'm saying, right? I am super excited to meet you this Saturday. Oh my God, I am too. For all of you, this Wednesday is not enough for me. I really hope I am seeing you live in Mumbai. If you are here in this room and you and I are going to be meeting live in Mumbai, give me some hearts, some thumbs up, some emojis in the chat box. Let me just see how many of you I'm going to be meeting personally, because I am super duper excited about us coming together. Artist Puja Khanna, I am an artist. My relative hired somebody else to paint a wall. I am feeling very shattered and hurt. How do I communicate this disappointment? We stay in the same premises. So Puja, one of the things that I'd love for you and for every woman who's working to understand is that this is great feedback for you. Okay, so this is where I would, instead of you asking her, the fact that she didn't ask you teaches you what? Tells you what? What does it say to you? Okay, now if a friend of mine landed up using somebody else as a life coach, my simple understanding of that would be that, you know what, maybe she thinks I'm not good enough for her. Maybe she can't afford me. Maybe, you know, whatever. I will look at what could have been the reason for someone to not hire me, and then work on that. This is great feedback for you. And even if you do ask her why she didn't hire you, instead of showing up hurt, just ask her very plainly in a feedback format that, you know what, I just want to know why you didn't hire me, because you know what, that'll be great for my business. Please, I don't need you to take me. Can I tell you, relatives are one of the hardest people to do business with. Very early in my coaching business, I understood this, and I said, you know what, there are 3 circles. One is me and my immediate family. One is the little one step further wala family, and then there is the acquaintances. Working with acquaintances, magical zone. Working with people very close to you, either they won't pay you your price. If they pay you, they will speak against you in society. They will take you for granted because they know you from advance. They will think you've taken them for granted. So much goes wrong. It damages you, your reputation and your relationship. All 3 are at stake. So when a close person does not use you in their business, I think you should thank them. And you should thank your stars that God protected you from them. Okay. Now, having known all of this, now you can go and ask them for feedback as to why they didn't hire you. And ask them very genuinely, I don't want you to hire me. I'm not saying you should have hired me. I'm only asking you so that I can work on myself and make myself better. When we, get people to start to want us to win, we change the whole relationship dynamics. So one of the things Bill Gates did very beautifully, I was watching this recently, is that if he wanted to work with someone, when he started Microsoft, instead of going and pitching to them his ideas, he would pitch to them his ideas and say, can you mentor me and guide me on how I can make my idea better? And once they got invested with him and his idea and were on his same side, rooting for him to win, guess what started to happen? They would then offer that, why don't you use your idea in my company and see if it works? Why don't you come and practice with me? Why don't you do this with me? And collaborating became so easy because he would position his client as a mentor first and then turn him into a client, okay? What a fabulous strategy. So Puja, this time this lady did not hire you to paint her wall, but make sure whatever feedback she gives you, you take it in such a beautiful manner that 5 years down the line, when she makes her new house, you are in charge of all the paintings, okay? And you know what? That is the most beautiful part of success. There were people on my journey who in the beginning were so skeptical of what is this Puja doing? She's going to get paid for charging. I mean, she's going to charge for talking. Those were the kind of things I used to hear. And then those same people 5 years later, 6 years later, 7 years later showed up as clients. And in my head, I'm thinking, what is she doing here? That's the last person I want to coach. But then I would tell myself, you know what, Puja, she is willing to be your student. Her heart has opened up, but your heart is still so small, you don't want to coach. Shame on you. So then I used to fix myself and say, you know, this is God's way of teaching you that, you know what, you worked hard enough that today you've been able to open up her heart. Now open up yours. That's your lesson. Same thing I'm going to tell you, Puja. Don't treat these as hurts. There's a long journey you have to take before you become the superstar. And can I tell you, every superstar will talk about their rejections. My teacher, Jack Canfield, got rejected for Chicken Soup for the Soul by 157 rejections. 157 publishing houses said no to Chicken Soup for the Soul. Eventually they found this small publishing house that, you know, promised them or finally signed the contract with them. And what an amazing decision, because Jack eventually sold his company for $60 million. Imagine all those 157 people who said no to him, what they must be feeling. That is what I call sweet revenge. And I'm going to request you, work in life with sweet revenge. Take all of these hurts and turn them into focus towards you becoming the best version of yourself, that someday these people come and tell you that, you know what, can you please do this for me? Can you please do that for me? And once you become successful, you know, that is what will put a smile on your face, you know. They will say, oh, I to always knew Puja, tu hamesha se itni amazing thi painting mein. You will remember this. They will not remember they didn't use you. Okay. So I hope I've been able to convince you. Oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. Don't forget to share your what's your biggest takeaway from today. Also, if you could, underneath this video, share your experiences of the week. Which was your favorite challenge and why? Okay, so out of the 7, I would love to hear which was your favorite challenge and why. And the best answer that I get in the chat box underneath this, I'll choose the best 3 answers. Okay, so which was your favorite? What is the question? Which was your favorite challenge of this whole 7 days and why? Which was your favorite challenge and why? Just put the comment box mein which was your favorite challenge and why, and I will share it in my stories. And if you get chosen and I share it in my stories, you will also receive my book, Unlocking the Golden Cage. So get ready for that also. Okay, I'd love to read some of these answers. This will be so interesting and intake for me to know and get feedback on how the challenge is going. Yeah. When and where are you coming to Mumbai? I will share the change makers details today itself here. Where have you been that you don't know about change makers? Please, all of you, can you please go on the Success Gyan page and look at where change makers is happening is at the Geo World. It is on 24th of February from, I think, 9:30, 10 in the morning to 7:30 in the evening. Okay. All right. Thank you all for coming. Bye. Ciao. Love you.